What's up, everybody? This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, your host of MrGentleman, like that podcast. And this week's sponsorship is from Newsly. Newsly is a all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and read them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time in ever on the internet, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Browse articles from topic you choose, start playing, start scrolling, and start listening. You can follow any topic as you specifically as you like, from sports, science to Bitcoin, even for the Kardashians. It will find you on the latest article and you read them to you out loud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, MrGentleman, like that podcast, is on there as well. Yes, it is. Shout out to Newsly for that. I started using it as my default podcast app. Download and use Newsly for free from www.newsly.me or from the link in the description. Use the promo code MrGentleman that I will also put in the description and receive 1 month free premium subscription. So you already know, y'all, download Newsly now. Check it out. Support them, y'all. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, your host of MrGentleman, like that podcast, and enjoy the show. You are now listening to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Season 6. True! Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, 1/4 of the Premier Boy Podcast, your host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And welcome to another new episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Hope all is well. And on this episode, I have my special guest. We created a crossover series called the Brotherhood Crossover. I was just on his show this past Friday on King Talk with Aaron Sands, and now he is on my show for the conclusion of this crossover episode called the Brotherhood Crossover. 1/4 of the Premier Boy Podcast, host of King Talk with Aaron Sands. We got the bro Aaron King Talk Sands on the show, and we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff about King Talk, about the Premier Boy Podcast, 20 years of friendship, our 10-year anniversary as in the nightlife industry, and many more. So you already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back.
Yo. This is the fresh one. They call me Mally Mal, the man. And you're listening to the Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast with my boy, the gentleman, Ken. Shouldn't be anywhere else right now.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I will be giving y'all MrGentleman facts quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, with one door closed, another one open. And I say this because sometimes some opportunities may not be for you, but that don't always mean that's the end of the road. So that when I said when one door closed, another one open, there's always a new opportunity coming your way. And that is today, MrGentleman Facts, quote of the day. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman of MrGentleman Like That Podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by MrGentleman Like That Podcast, where we bring many guests telling about their stories about their brand they got going on. Also about me telling y'all my personal stories about things that are going on in my life. Also, we have many spin-off shows on MrGentleman Like That Podcast called The Old School Show, with myself and the Star Writing Rod, where we talk anything old school, which happen every 4th or 5th Sunday at 12 a.m. on the MrGentleman Like That Podcast Network. And another spin-off show called A Conversation About Music Podcast, where we talk to many artists about their music journey. And also we have a roundtable music discussion about anything music, and which should come on every first Sunday at 12 a.m. on MrGentleman Like That Podcast Network. And yeah, you already know, if y'all need a podcast to listen to, check out MrGentleman Like That Podcast. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Good Pod, and many more. Y'all can rate the show 5-star rating on Good Pod, Podchaser, and Apple Podcasts. You know, the more y'all rate, the more love the show get. Y'all can also check it out on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube now. Ken, aka MrGentleman Like That TV. And also support the website of MrGentleman Like That Podcast, MrGentleman Like That Podcast.com. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, and have a good day, night, wherever you're listening to this episode. Back to the show. True.
This is Aaron Sands, and you are now listening to the MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I got my special guest. I was just on his show recently for part 1 of the Brotherhood crossover. You already know he is 1/4 of the Premier Way podcast. He is the host of King Talk with Aaron Sands. You know, he's my longtime brother. You already know he do the wrestling prediction on this show. We got the bro, Aaron, King Talk Sands, back on the show. Welcome back, bro.
You already know what it is. King Talk. Yeah, that's me. We back at it again on a Sunday. Now, you know I don't really do much on a Sunday, people, but if there's one thing that I do on a Sunday besides sleep, smoke weed, and get some head, you already know it's being on MrGentleman's Lifestyle Podcast. Ken, what's good?
Yeah, you already know. And, you know, usually you're on this show when we do the wrestling prediction episode, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But since we didn't have a SummerSlam episode this year, sadly, you know, I'm upset that we didn't. This is pretty much a makeup for that episode. So, yeah, so you already know. Welcome back, bro. And this is the first time in a while that we have a episode like this instead of a prediction episode. So, yeah, welcome back, bro.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Especially good to be back to like not talk about wrestling, but actually getting some real shit. Not to say wrestling ain't real shit, but you know, it's really good to get back to like some real conversation here, and we can really touch on some topics.
Yeah, and you know, I was just on your show this past Friday for Brotherhood crossover part 1. So now we're gonna conclude it on this episode. But you know, first thing first, bro. How you been? Like, how you been with your life? Update on life and everything, like stuff like that.
Well, right now I've been like really busy. I've been working on a lot of projects, a lot of like side projects and everything like that. Been working, been getting ready for the whole wedding vibes and everything like that, you know. And one of the big things with that is the planning. I've always learned to like just let ladies like do the whole planning when it comes down to weddings. So right now I've just been kind of like playing like the back end on that end, and then, you know, seeing where it goes from there. But other than that, you know, things been grinding. I'm working on getting number 1 on Good Pods for the for King Talk. So that's been working pretty well.
Well, first thing first, yo, I said this many times. Congrats to you and your fiance. You know, getting married. You know, about to get married. So that's an amazing feeling. And I can't wait for the wedding because you already know I'm in there. Yeah. Also, we're gonna talk more about the Good Pods and the number 1 spot in a few. But how do you feel about 2022 this year so far? How do you feel about your year for 2022 so far?
2022 has been wildly interesting, professionally and personally. There's a lot of growth and there's a lot of self-awareness that I've been dealing with. One of my biggest things this year, and shout out and RIP to Kevin Samuels about this, one of the biggest things I've been learning is having self-awareness. Self-awareness is sexy. A lot of people aren't really aware of what they do and how they maneuver in certain situations. And I've been really big on that because I haven't in 2021, you know. So that's one of the things, is trying to be more able to read rooms and things like that and know, like, you know, who I could trust and who I can't, you know. I really been weeding out a lot of things in my life that haven't served me any peace. So, 2022 has been I've been really big on self-improvement.
Yeah, and you already know, so that's the best way to go. The best way to grow, you know, because 22, I ain't gonna hold, this year have been a crazy year for me too. I spoke about it on your show already, but I don't have to remind it here. But yeah, let's just hope that 2023 it's about even more growing, even more growth, more positive vibes, son. Like,
Definitely.
Yeah. But, you know, speaking of this, you know, we mentioned this the other day off screen after we did the episode of Key Talk, and we noticed that it is the 20-year anniversary of our 20-year of friendship. You, me, and Germs. Shout out to Germs. So my question to you is, like, do you remember how we got together, you know, as friends, and why friendship so important?
Okay, so here's the thing with that, right? I've met Germs first.
Yeah. Before
I met you.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was in high school. I was like living environment class. And honestly, he was kind of making fun of me a little bit. Because I ain't gonna hold you, I was a punk back in school. So one of my biggest things was, you know, trying to like stand up for myself and everything like that. I'm in 9th grade, you know, I didn't really know how to like move around and, you know, maneuver in those spaces. So I became friends with Germs, and, you know, we've been cool. And then I think Germs met you in another class, and then we all ended up in the same class.
Yeah, the funny story about that is I had met Germs first. I remember I met Germs the second day of school. He was in my living environment class at first. Then they tried him out of living environment class, and I guess he added him to your class. And then probably a couple of days later, I got tripped out of that class that I was in. That I got added to your government class. And I remember that I was in the front of the class, just chilling, trying to figure out why I'm in this class. And here I'm doing with a deep voice, like asking all the questions. Yo, who does deep voice do? Asking all the questions, yo. And turns out it's you. And then we went to the library, and George like, hey, Ken over here. Well, Ken up over here. And then you were there too. And next thing you know, we all played cards, and Cake was involved.
Yeah, Cake was involved on your end. I was fine.
Yeah, well,
I was fine with the
cards.
I was definitely good with cards. But yeah, that's really how I started, and a lot of that came down to like similar taste.
Yeah.
And similar taste in like card games and food. And then as time grew, you know, we learned more about each other. And then, you know, there was a lot of situations that tested the friendship as a whole. When it turns to like when it comes down to who's having your back, you know?
Yeah.
And you go through a lot. Like a lot of people, they have friends and everything is fine and well until a situation occurs where that person needs you.
True.
And a lot of times, especially when you're younger, that shit kind of folds.
Yeah.
So when it doesn't, it's kind of good to have those people by your side. And I think we all kind of went through a situation like that when it came down to like situations like high school that we went through and we needed to relate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that was a really big thing.
And it was, son. And you know, we went through a lot during that time, from high school to after high school to adulthood. And then, isn't any two guys? I wouldn't go through it with any other two guys, man. I'm glad that I went through it with you and Jerz, man. And let's continue to, grow. 20 more years, 20 more years, son.
Now to answer your question about the whole friendship situation, friendship is important, especially like, when you're trying to do things that, especially when you try to do new ventures. It's one thing where you can do it alone. Yes, people can do it alone. But at the same time, it's like, why? Like, if you have the option, right? What would you choose? If you had the option to get to the success that you want to get to in your respective field, would you rather do it alone and get all the glory, or would you share that glory with the people that, that you're cool with, that care about you and that love you?
Yeah, I mean, of course I do it alone, of course, but it means so much better when you have somebody else ride with you through that success. It means a lot more. It means a lot more if you do it with somebody else, though. So I definitely completely get it. And that way we did the Premiere Boy podcast. That way we did YPG, and we did the Blaze of Click and Blaze of Glory. Because we did it as a team. Even some parts of MrGentleman, because y'all was a part of that journey too. So,
and a lot of it comes down to cut you off, but a lot of it comes down to honesty. You'll have friends now. Granted, you'll have friends that's there, but then you'll have friends that will sit there and lie to you just to be close to you.
That's a fact.
And I've came across, me personally, I came across a lot of associates, and keep in mind on the words I'm using here. I came across a lot of associates that wanted to be around me, that try to play the role as a friend, but really just wanted to be close to what I can provide for them. I think we've seen a lot of that in like the Premiere Boy situation. Not the Premiere Boy situation. The Nightlife situation.
Yeah, Nightlife situation. Yeah, definitely. I could completely agree with that. I was just gonna mention that too. I'm going to follow what you were saying. I'm going to mention that because we seen a lot of that when we were doing the Nightlife, and the fact that people, it was many people who did not mess with us, but only mess with us because we became those guys. We became the popular guys who could provide you to get in the clubs or street drinks or stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Not to cut you off, but and this may seem kind of embarrassing given our stature and what we did.
Yeah.
But there was many a night, where we had nobody come out.
The facts.
Nobody pulled up, and we wasn't seeing money. And there was times where there was stretches of Saturdays. Yeah. Or stretches of Fridays that happened, And a lot of people don't really think about that. A lot of people don't, especially the people that really like rocking with us around that time heavily. A lot of those people that wasn't thinking about the struggle that we had to sit there and the work that we had to put into this. They see the rewards, and they see the success, the notoriety, and they see that, and it's like, okay, this like I could put my money on them because they've been producing, but they don't see the stretch of time where we wasn't sitting there putting up numbers. They didn't see the times where we was about to get kicked off cards.
Multiple times.
You know what I'm saying? Over all types of shit. Whether it's not producing, us wilding, things like that. Like, nobody's there for those times. But the ones that were there for those times that rolled it out, they stayed, and I appreciate them more for that. I appreciate those people more for that. Because you stayed when they got dark.
Facts. And yeah, man, I could 100% agree about that. But we're gonna save the Nightlife talk a little later. Cause I'm gonna ask that, but we're gonna talk more about that a little later, though.
No, man.
No, you're good. But let's dive into the podcast real quick. Let's dive into King Talk. Before I ask you about King Talk, y'all are part of the Premiere Boy podcast. Y'all are actually one of the controversial ones of the Premiere Boy podcast.
I wouldn't say controversial. I'm gonna be real. I wouldn't say controversial. Okay. I see a lot of things that most people are thinking, but they don't want to say it because they're scared of getting like canceled or what have you. You know what I'm saying? I own my own content. I don't have to worry about getting canceled. You know,
Okay.
Not to say that it's impossible for me to get canceled, but it's less likely because I don't work for a conglomerate that can do so.
In fact, we all work for ourselves. That is a fact. But you know, you're on the Premier Boy podcast, you know, alongside me, Roddy, and Long Live the Chief Molly Mal. But then you decided to start your own podcast, you know, King Talk with Aaron saying. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what inspired you to start your own podcast show?
All right, so basically when it comes down to that, right? When it comes down to starting up, when King Talk started, I had a lot of, you know, as you would say, controversial topics, talking a lot of controversial topics on Premier Boyz.
Yeah.
And a lot of people with, you know, whether it be good or bad, had thoughts on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you approached me about it and asked me, like, hey, what do you think about starting a podcast show? And at first I was like, no. I just want to be able to talk on the mic and chill with you guys.
Yeah. It's funny because you turned down that offer many times when after I asked you about it. We go through a podcast show. I'm like, no.
No. I'll be on Premier Boyz and we'll talk it up or chop it up, because honestly, and it's going back to the friendship line. Honestly, I got into the whole podcasting thing as a whole because it wasn't like, oh, we were just doing it for the viewers. I was just on there just to chop it up with my bros.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I wanted to chop it up with my bros, and it felt like we were doing like an actual show and shit like that.
Yeah.
It was like we were just friends talking about topics like how we normally do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And our conversations could get raunchy, but at the end of the day, that's just because how we talk. You know what I'm saying? We're from New York.
Yeah.
So it's not like a thing where we're soft with our words. We talk hard.
Yeah.
Having said that, when you finally approached me for like the 10th time, asking me about a podcast show, I was like, you know what? I mean, I got the capabilities. We can do it. You know, Ken Say's willing to help. Let's just see where it goes. I'll do a couple episodes, see what's good. Get Roddy on as a guest. Yeah. And that honestly was the first episode.
It was the first episode, yeah.
You know, and we shot that like right around the time after the first season of Premier Boyz.
Yeah, because Premier Boyz was on break. MrGentleman was on his, I believe, either first year or second year anniversary. I think second anniversary. And I had you on my show for a YouTube exclusive episode, which later became a bonus episode later, and then we spoke about it from there a little bit about it from there.
Yeah, it was a thing where I gotta put this. It was a thing where it's like, all right, as I got more comfortable talking on the mic by myself, then King Talk then in turn started to become a thing, you know, because in a sense it was like, all right, I could sit there and carry a conversation about several topics for about 45 minutes. I could talk to other people and be comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And be in a good space. I mean, granted, shit like that took time, you know, but after that course of time, I understood it more. I was like, okay, I could, you know, actually make this a thing, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And I ain't gonna hold you. You are killing with King Talk right now, you know. You already answered one of the other questions I asked you, like the ideas and stuff, King together, but you already said it already. But you know, you're killing with King Talk. You know, King Talk is really, you know, really dope. I'm glad that I'm executive producer of that show, and you know, help you on the journey as well, man. You know, I'm enjoying it right now, son.
I'm enjoying the ride right now. I mean, granted, it's early considering the fact that we're, you know, how do I put this? We're just starting season 3. We dropped the second episode of season 3 last Friday. Everybody check that out. Brotherhood crossover episode 21, all streaming platforms. We're doing there's a lot that I want to do with season 3. There's a lot of things I want to get more open into, like collaborating with other podcasts. Because honestly, the first 2 seasons, like first season, I was just having fun with it.
Yeah.
To see if I wanted to do it. And if I didn't feel like doing it, I would just be like, nope, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And then second season was like, all right, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try to do it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
See where I'm at. And then now the third season, I actually want to see where this goes. And honestly, I was like, hey, this might be a make or break season because, you know, there's other things I want to get into, but I have to like divvy up my time wisely because even though our ideas are unlimited, however, time is not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So I have to put my time into certain things where that can help me grow not only financially, but brings me joy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and you're right, you said season 3 is the make and break season. And honestly, that was the make and break season for MrGentleman too, season 3. Like, that was my decided if I wanted to keep going or this is it. And I was really close, especially with the Spotify situation happened around that time. But then, I don't know, something happened and things just started picking up. So I know King Tour would get the same success, you know. They're going to grow heavy. I believe in that. So I believe that this show is going to grow to a heavy success, you know.
I believe so too, you know. I wouldn't stick with 3 seasons and not think that, you know. So, you know, and I also feel like there's a really big movement that can be like grown and built with King Talk, especially with the ideas that I want to come up with and everything new. I can't really break anything for that here as of yet because those things don't work.
No, the people need to know. People need to know. The people need to listen and find out.
Yeah, like basically, yeah. If you want to know, check out King Talk every Friday. It's all streaming platforms. Right now, last I checked, we was number 2 on Good Pods.
Wait, hold you right there. That's the next question. That's the next question right now. That's the next question. So you're on the road for season. You're on the road for the number 1 spot on Good Pods. Right now, you're on number 2. We just as of this recording, you're on number 2 right now on Good Pods for entertainment news for both indies and normal charts. So my question to you is, like, why is number 1? Why being number 1 for King Tour would be so important for you? Like, why would be why would be important to you?
Mainly because of the fact that I didn't expect King Talk. I ain't gonna hold you. First season, I didn't expect King Talk to be as big because I was just having fun with it. You know?
Yeah.
I always said, whether in the first or in the second season, I'm still gonna say here in the third, if I have just 5 to 10 people listen to this pod, right? I've won. You know, I was never in the realm of trying to be famous.
Yeah.
You know, or be number 1. So that never was really like a thought, you know, at first. So now when we're getting into spaces where I could actually beat not only I'm on the charts and people are listening at a higher frequency, but also me being at the number 1 spot, being the number 1 entertainment news podcast in Good Pods. I feel like that's a bigger goal because even though you do things for fun, there's certain goals that you would like to reach.
Exactly.
You know, and I always feel like being number 1 would add like a really nice feather in my cap.
It would.
Especially when especially during season 2 when you had other people, which I won't mention, said that I was finished.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like, you know, I was giving out life for like 2 or 3 weeks. Now I'm finished. Okay. So now being number 1, I feel like in this space would be like my redemption song.
Yeah. And you're definitely gonna make it. You're actually gonna make it when you, like I said, you're gonna celebrate on your show when you get to number 1 and looking for that celebration. But also, you're gonna have to aim higher too, because you can make it to the number 1 for entertainment news, but you gotta aim higher for the top 100 shows next too. In any other charts as well, you know.
Well, that's my next thing. Like me personally, I was like, I'm more of a 1 at a time guy. I always this, right?
Yeah.
People drive themselves crazy trying to do everything, everywhere, all at once. Right?
Yeah.
Me personally, I've tried that too in my 20s, and I've drove myself insane. So much so, you know, I found myself being burnt out trying to push everything on the wall and hoping that it sticks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, and I learned this professionally. if I could do one thing great at that time, right? I'm in a good space, you know? And then when I clear that, when I reach the zenith for that, guess what I'm doing? Going to the next goal and getting to that and putting all my energy in that. I feel like when people spread their energies and spread their time across different situations, you're not giving 100% to the one thing that you really should be focusing on.
And I can hold you. That's definitely true, because I've done that plenty of times where I try to do all at once, things all at once, and I thought to lose focus on what the main purpose is. So I completely agree with you on that, because that happened to me in the past, and now I have to take a step back and just focus on one thing, so everything else could come together later. So yeah, so I definitely get that, son. I definitely get that. You definitely right about that. But what is your overall goal for King Talk and for you when people listen to your podcast? What is your overall goal?
I want them to come there for like the jokes and everything, but I also want them to stay for the gems. Mm-hmm. You know, you get a lot of people in life. You have a lot of people around, and I've always felt you have a lot of people in the world. Number one, number two, you know, a lot of times people don't have the best intentions for you, and they don't give you like the best advice. Yeah, you know, they only give you advice that you feel that will cater to them. Yeah, and me being is going back to the friendship thing. Me being a good friend, I don't like giving you the fake because you're my bro. I don't like giving you the fake because, you know, you're cool with me. Or I don't like giving you the fake because you give me head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to, you know, I have to tell you the real shit. And because honestly, not only it'll benefit you, it'll benefit me too, because now you'll be a better person and I can actually be around you, you know? So the purpose with King Talk is that, you know, what I'm doing in my personal life, I want to bring that into my regular, you know, I want to bring that into my podcast to not only help my friends, but to help other people that I might not never meet. We may never meet, but if I could give you the best advice based on what's going on out here in the world, whether it be entertainment news, politics, regular local news, if I could give you the best advice that can help you not only get through this life day by day, but also become the best version of yourself, then I feel like I've done my job. You know, I could put an L in the air and say I did my best, because I gave you those gems that you could look back on and be like, hey, I could relate to this. I think I could, you know, I could apply this to my everyday life, and then I can move forward. You know, so I don't want to say King Talk is like a self-help podcast, because we make jokes, we talk about entertainment news and everything. Yeah. But I feel like one of my biggest goals is trying to give advice to people that can help them in their everyday life. And if I make the correlation between that and whatever Cardi B and Nicki is beefing about, then hey, y'all relate to that anyway, right? So yeah,
that makes sense. That is a fact. So, you know, usually I don't do this, but I'm actually next question. Then we're gonna take a short break. I don't usually take breaks, but we're gonna take a short break after this next question. So you already know you're on another podcast show called the Premier Podcast, and right now we put out 2 seasons, and we got 41 episodes at the moment. So, in your honest opinion, where do you feel the direction of the Premier Podcast is going so far?
Well, and we kind of talked about this honestly, in King Talk. There are some good things and there are some bad things. I'm gonna be candid with you, because it's a MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. I feel like even though with all of the backstage drama and everything like that, the fact that we were able to maintain number 1, spite of all of that, is a big thing, you know, because people are showing up and wanting to actually hear us and hear our views on shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no matter what we're dealing with, I feel like if we could come together once again and put out like great content, you know, have us have like a whole, you know, dialogue about certain issues, and you make funny ass jokes along the way. I have no doubt that we could be like one of the rather popular podcasts that's out right now. You know, like you see a lot of podcasts now. You have like these groups. Everybody's in a group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless you like really big, everybody's in a group.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So with us being in a group and us having different styles of how we approach it, I think we could actually, you know, be in a great space if we apply ourselves to do so.
Yeah. And I agree. And, you know, whenever we come back, we gonna kill it. But here's my other question. In your prediction, when do you think we are dropping season 3?
Whenever the water come back on. I think it's not more of a thing of us finding news. You know, I said this last time in King Talk. In a relationship, it's hard to get two people on the same page.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You might want to do something, but your girl probably want to do something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your girl might want to try something new, but you just want to have what you like because it's, you know, you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard to get two people that's in love.
Yeah.
On the same page. You know what I'm saying? That's difficult.
Yeah.
Imagine how hard it is to get 4 brothers to do one thing.
Yeah.
You know? Am I saying it's impossible? No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is the difficulty is there, and it's in that difficulty that the delay is there. But I do believe that we can, you know, come together and put something together that could really not only reach the masses, but also, you know, help build us as friends.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
And honestly, if I had to make a prediction, I would have to say January 2023. If I had to be honest, I feel like that would be the perfect date for, you know, the show to come back, and then possibly me make a return as well. So who knows? But we don't know. Maybe it might be early in that, but that's just me giving a little prediction. But,
I don't know. I would have to disagree. I think you can come back sooner than that. Really? I mean, it's not like we don't have the capabilities to do an episode. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest thing is I don't want, and this is kind of getting into the nightlife shit, right? If you don't pull up the spot long enough, if you're not pushing the spot long enough on the social medias, you know, people can very well forget you.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
The same is true in podcasting. You know, if you're not putting out stuff and people are just relating to the old stuff, which is still good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people gonna want more.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You know, and when you're talking about a market that the attention span is so small, you know, you're gonna have to continue to push content. You know, nobody wants somebody to push content like once or twice and then you go ghost.
Yeah.
You know, that was a big problem with King Talk, and I promised I wouldn't do that no more.
Yeah, and that's and it's crazy because the season 2 finale is due on the charts right now, on the top 100 shows right now, just chilling. It's been on the charts since the show been on and off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we do gotta come up with new stuff. Whenever we come back, remain to be seen. But right now, for the first time ever in a while, we're gonna take a short break. And King Talk Sam will still be here because we got the second part of this interview, and we got many more stuff to talk about. So myself, and King Talk Sam will be right back.
All right.
This is Aaron Sands, and you are now listening to the MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Yes, we are back. We are back, and you know my bro King Talk Sands is still here.
Yes.
And now we're about to provide you with the second part of this conversation. Cause not interview, it's a conversation. It's a conversation with my brother. You know. so you already know. I asked this to every one of my guests. We in a pandemic. I guess we're still in a pandemic. Yeah, I guess whatever this is. So my question to you is, how has the pandemic affect you? What have you learned from it? And tell us your COVID experience.
All right. So during the pandemic, right, I was working, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, you working, you clocking in doing jobs." Yeah, because that's how you pay the bills. What you don't expect is that what you don't expect is for like a pandemic of that magnitude to really put you down and really like have you figure out shit. Took a lot of losses during the pandemic. I'm not going to really get into all of that.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Definitely took a lot of losses during the pandemic, but it was also a lot of upside, you know?
Yeah.
I was part of the whole pandemic crew during that time. So, you know, I was really having, instead of dwelling at home and worrying about the pandemic and everything, I was out. I was outside.
Yeah.
I was outside. I was living life. I was touching grass. Even ended up making a trip to Mexico at one point. And it was pretty cool because, you know, when you're in the house for so long, you can either like make money in the house, which I know a lot of people did, myself included, but also you want to be able to get outside and actually do shit, you know? Do shit that you can enjoy, you know? Do things that, you know, you used to do. Now, you couldn't do everything that you used to do because of the pandemic. But at the same time, you're able to at least attempt to, you know, to try some things. A lot of people, they see, you know, they see the pandemic and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to try anything, you know. I wanted to stay in the house and everything like that, which I can respect, but there's a whole big world out here, you know. And eventually you have to join it. And what I'm finding now, post-pandemic, is that people are having difficulty trying to get back out there and get back to certain things so that they used to do. You know, and honestly, it's because when you're in the house when you're inside for so long, you know, you build new habits, and now you
that's a fact.
You know, and listen, good habits are hard to build, bad habits are hard to break. So you know, when you're doing when you're trying to get back, you have to keep that in mind. You have to do everything that you did before, you have to do it again. But that's how building gets done, honestly.
That's a fact. And you know, tell us about your COVID experience, because you did have COVID at one point.
Yeah, so I had COVID at the end of 2021, and basically, I came from a trip. I was coming from out west, and next thing you know, I felt a little weak. And I was vaccinated. To be fair, I was fully vaccinated. You know, I was out in Vegas, no mask on. This was kind of my fault. I was out there in Vegas with no mask on, no protection, and it was winter, so you know, out west is a little bit warmer, you know, than it is out on the East Coast. Especially in the Northeast. So you're kind of traveling through different weather patterns. And that plus COVID being wild and rampant will really take a toll on your body, as it did mine. I'm at work and I get my test results back because, you know, I was told that I got exposed. And I was like, okay, let me just get a test to see where I'm at. Come to find out, I had COVID. And I really had to sit down for like maybe a week or two, you know? So it was tough, but thankfully I was vaccinated, so the effects of the actual virus didn't really affect me so much. But it did take me time to get back to the swing of things and, you know, get my health back in order. But it really did, what COVID really did was keep my health, it forced me to keep my health in mind. And that was a pretty good thing because, you know, a lot of people, we work, we have our lives and everything, and we don't stop to think like, hey, how are we doing? How are we feeling physically?
Yeah.
And we're wondering, like, oh, we're 30, like we get into our 30s, we're like, oh, you know, I'm feeling these pains. Oh, I'm getting old. Why are you feeling these pains?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, why are you feeling the way you feel? Did you go get checked out? Did you get tested? Things like that, you know?
Yeah.
So these are things that, you know, we, especially as men, have to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy, you know. COVID was crazy. We all literally had it at the same time. It was crazy enough, but I'm glad we are here and we are good and we staying healthy. But you know, that time away from the COVID conversation because you know he's afraid depression, and let's talk about the one topic that we haven't spoke about, but we talked about it a little bit earlier this episode, the nightlife industry. You know, as you know, myself and King Talk Sands are club promoters, nightlife industry promoters, nightlife event planners, and we started this journey December 31st, 2011. So we literally on 10 years now. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about the 10-year run in the nightlife industry?
I feel like it's a 10-year, even though we've been doing it for 10 years, I feel like we've been active.
Yeah.
For like about 8 of those 10.
Yeah.
And I say 8 of those 10 because when going back to pandemic and COVID, that kind of sat us down, and in that pandemic, it changed a lot. The game changed a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So one of the big things that I was thinking about, like when it came down to when you asked me about, you know, how do I feel about the 10 years, is a mixed bag. There was some awesome and amazing things that went down during our 10-year run, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, there was a lot of bad. Like I said before, there's a lot of success where people were celebrating, everybody was getting money, everybody was eating, and then there was a stretch of Saturdays and or Fridays that we wasn't seeing no money, and it was really dry
at all.
Yeah, at all. You know, and at first, like, we didn't really know what we were doing, so we you know, following under, you know, other promoters that was actually active in doing it.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal for us. We kind of just learned from them and add our spin to certain things, you know?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
A lot of that we learned, and it also comes down in culture too, which I feel like might change now because of the movement. I feel like I could speak about this here. It's like plus size ladies in the club.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't really think about it, you know, but there's a whole stigma behind that type of shit.
Yeah,
you know? That's true. I could, if you don't mind, I could share a story. I could do a story time with Aaron Sands real quick. It's been a little minute.
Story time with Aaron Sands. Been a while. Continue, son.
So, and you know the story better than anybody.
Oh boy, I think I know where we're going with this. Continue, son.
That's a disclaimer. So, your birthday, right? And the way since I was a host of this particular event, the build for this particular birthday was astronomical. I've never worked on an event as hard that wasn't my birthday.
Yeah.
I haven't worked on an event as hard as I have for yours, for that particular event.
Yeah.
So I'm there, you know, things are turning up, we're getting ready to turn up and everything like that. And, you know, I get word from one of the promoters saying that, like, oh, we can't let these girls up in here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what you mean we can't let these girls up in here, bro?
Yeah.
It was like, it's kind of it's an image thing, you know? It's really on plus size ladies, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, damn, like, what you mean we can't let them in? They're here, they're willing to spend money, they're about to set it, they about to book a table, they're about to be with a table.
Yeah.
Do it. And then he explained it to me. It was like a whole stigma behind that type of shit. And honestly, even though, like, you got a lot of people standing up for plus size women nowadays, like, that stigma, I feel, is still there to this day.
It is, it is.
You know, in a major way, and a lot of people don't speak on it, but it's a true thing. They more likely, plus size women more than likely have to pay to get in the clubs than, you know, their smaller counterparts.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and people could say, oh, well, my friend didn't do it, or my friend didn't have to pay. Yeah, that's anecdotal. You know what I'm saying? Typically, in New York City clubs, there is a preference. And I can also speak about that with strip clubs too, when it comes down to like the exotic women and the BBLs, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But getting back to the story time, I had to go out there now and tell these ladies that they can't pull up to the spot. Because at the time, if I was on some friend shit, I'd be like, all right, let's go somewhere else and turn off.
Yeah.
But as a promoter, it's a little different because I'm also hosting that night.
Exactly.
So I had to break the news. That was the hardest. I would say that situation was the toughest situation I had to come across as a promoter.
And you're not the only one, son, especially because it's my birthday and I'm being a promoter. It makes it hard for me too. So, especially when your friends can't get to the club on your birthday, but also you are working too. So,
especially the reason why they can't get in.
The reason why they get in. Exactly.
It's the reasoning of why you can't get in that touched on a way bigger issue.
Yeah.
You know, and what I found, not just at the spot at this particular spot, but at like I would say 90% of spots.
A lot of spots, actually.
Yeah, I'm saying like 90%. That's a really big thing, you know. And it's not really like it's not like a thing you can say out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's behind closed doors is one of those unwritten rules.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was a tough situation. And a lot of people, they see the success, they see the pageantry and everything that comes with, you know, promoting and everything like that. But they don't see moments like that.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. And what made matters worse was when we were doing other venues that was a little more lenient on those things, those same people that was there, you know, complaining about the whole, you know, plus size situation, they didn't pull up.
Exactly. We had another opportunity for them to be because of that other venue, and they didn't come out to support that venue. So it's like,
so for me, that told me it wasn't a plus. It was a thing where I felt the way because it was I was a plus size woman. I couldn't get in the club because when we have other options, like, no, I don't want those options.
Exactly.
I'm like, all right, bet I'm going back to my host role.
Exactly.
And I'm going back to my host role and my host mental because, you know, if I'm having fun is one thing, but if I'm having fun, I'm hosting, that's another thing because I'm on business.
Exactly.
You know, I'm going back to that now and just focusing on that because I still got a market there, and two, you know, you gotta build. Not this is whatever niche, whether you're promoting, shit, affiliate marketing, whatever. Like you gotta promote to the crowd that supports you.
Exactly. And we do have people coming out too, so it's like, you know, we still had a job to do. We still had a job to do.
And the worst, the crazy part about that whole night was we still made money that night.
Exactly. We really did, son. We really did make money that night.
So this is going to come off kind of like this next statement is going to come off kind of controversial, but I don't give a shit. When it comes down to my pockets, it's my pockets over my feelings.
Yeah. I know it's not controversial because I agree with you on that. I feel you on that. I'm sorry.
You know,
I feel that. You know,
is it fucked up that plus size women have a harder time getting the venues as their smaller counterparts? Yeah, it's a real issue. We need to fix that. However, we're not the guys to fix that. We're only
exactly.
One day I want to own a spot that everybody could pull up to and spend money.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, because you think about it, like, all right, yeah, even though this one lady's big and this other lady's small, guess what? Money's green.
Yeah.
All right. And that's not going to stop for nobody because I bet you any amount of money. I'll bet you this. If the roles were reversed, you know what I'm saying? Like, those roles are reversed, the outcomes would be way different.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't see that shit.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yeah. But I'm about to name you D4 spots, and you give me a memory out of D4 spots.
Okay.
Are you ready? All right. So Perfect got D4 spot that we promoted at. I have a big major spot to say. Club Rebel.
quick memory out of that. All right, so check this out. There was this one night, right? I was answering with a shorty and everything like that. Got a number. I got like about a few numbers that night. You know, I was on like my working vibe, but I was really trying to smash something. I was really trying to clap something up. And as I'm like working on getting ready to clap something up, I don't know what happened. I actually had two memories. Number one, number two. Number one and number two. This is number one. As I'm trying to get ready, you know, close up some deals and shit, for some reason, out of nowhere, I get sprayed with pepper spray. Not by the people, and not by the people I'm talking to, but by some random.
Oh, wow.
And that whole pepper spray fucked the whole room up. Everybody
I remember that. I remember that day now. I remember that day.
Everybody got caught. I got it in my drink. It's on my body. It's in my eyes. I had to go to the bathroom. What? You know what I'm saying? And then what they don't tell you is, and maybe I didn't know this before, but what they don't tell you is when you get hit with pepper spray, you can't just rinse it off with water. You gotta go get milk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's like pepper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You calm pepper down with like dairy. So they don't tell you that. But that's a King Talk gem. When you get sprayed with pepper spray, you need some milk. Go somewhere and get like a bottle of milk or some shit. Get some quick. Throw that shit over your eyes and you'll be good. But it was rough. So that was one. And number two, this funny story came up. It was wild, crazy. So I'm in a spot, right? I think it was one of the last few Rebel nights. And I'm over here dancing. I think it was you, me, and I think Roddy. We over there doing our money dance. Like, yeah, get money. You got money from like a previous night.
Oh, yeah, fact.
So you imagine this on a Friday night. I had money from regular work, I had money from the club shit. So I had a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
We were bringing a lot of money that time, son.
Yeah, so I might get money spot. This shit comes up out of nowhere. Talking about, get money. I get money too. I'm like, okay, you get money, I get money. Everybody get money. It's Friday shit. You all get money. And then we dancing, and then she headbutts the shit out of my mouth.
Oh yeah, I remember that night too.
And I'm like, what the hell? Why did you do that? That shit was weird. I was worried. You know, but then we chop it up and everything. Shit getting lit. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was kind of, you know, and it was just us chopping it up all night. We sitting there just talking shit, dancing, whatever. Next thing you know, and I'm clapping it up in the club.
I remember that. I remember this. I definitely remember this night. So.
And to make matters worse, 7 days, 7 night caught shit.
I remember this.
The next one, like the thing is, like a few days after it, 7 days, 7 nights dropped the pictures for.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, they got me.
I remember this. Yeah, I remember this night. I remember this night completely. That was a wild night. And I ain't gonna hold you. Club Rebel as a whole was a wild venue, man. And that was the start of us, though. That was the start of our weekly venue. You know.
Yeah, it was the start of our movement. Honestly.
Yeah, it was.
It's funny when you have a spot, right?
Yeah.
Where you could do bottles every other week.
Yeah.
Do bottles every other week. You got girls in cages. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not like these girls are, to be fair, because I know it's 2022. I'll put this disclaimer out. It's not like these girls are captured and put in cages. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, they promote out places that put girls in cages. No, let's not do that. These girls walked into these cages.
Fact. Walked into the cages, literally,
and started twerking in the cage. And it wasn't just one girl. It was like about 2-3 of them on top of each other. Like a triple decker or some shit like that.
It was, those days was wild, but we had to shout out to NYC Compton and the City Elite Group, you know, for the opportunity for putting us on the map, you know, because if it wasn't for them, we would not even be doing that, you know, stuff like that. But that don't end there. We work with them again on this next spot called Octagon, and this spot, we wilding out, but we started to get a little big headed. So tell us the memory from Octagon.
All right, at this point in Octagon, we was putting up, if the numbers in Rebel was pretty crazy, numbers for Octagon got even crazier.
And we got cocky. We had an ego. We had an ego with Octagon.
We stopped being humble. I feel like Humble Beginnings was the Rebel with the girls in the cage and shit.
Yeah.
Octagon was where we stopped being humble because, everything was coming up, YPG. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We literally.
Everybody was talking about YPG. We was literally at least for a good couple of summers, like the hottest promoters in Octagon.
Yeah, we was. Yeah, we was.
A good example of that, honestly, was one of my birthday parties. This is where my birthday party started to become a little bit legendary.
Oh yeah.
So it was a particular night, Octagon, Aaron Sam's birthday bash. And the club at this point was pretty empty, right?
Yeah.
I bring in my group of people. We're like about 40, 50 deep.
Yeah.
Mad people. Couple sections we had to take, right? And we're like, oh, we think it's over. You know what I'm saying? We think, everybody think the night's good or whatever. We think we make good money. Next thing you know, a fucking party bus shows up.
Yep.
With like another 50, 60 people.
Facts.
Talking about like, oh, we here for YPG. We doing birthdays. Apparently, the lady that's hosted the party bus, I booked their birthday.
Yeah.
Having them book the most expensive packages, biggest bottles. And honestly, it was just my group, her group, and like a few other groups in the spot. But for that night, we killed it by a large margin. And I hate that I can't remember all of it because I was too fucked up for my birthday.
I remember it. It was one of our biggest nights. One of our biggest nights because your birthday, my birthday, and another birthday were pretty much our biggest nights. And yeah, that was like one of our biggest nights, son. And I hosted your birthday event too, so it was like even more. And I remember a lot of it for that night, son. It was a crazy night, son. It was a crazy night.
Yeah, a lot was going down. And on top of that, I like the situation. At that point, we was in a space where, even though a lot happens and we act crazy, we go wild a lot in Octagon. I'm pretty sure we caused that club at least tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Yeah.
Honestly,
we were wild boys, yo. We was in our wild boy area, era around that time, for real.
Yeah, and it was a lot of stuff that went on, but at the same time, I feel like at that time we was like worth the struggle because of the fact that we were producing at like an extra high level.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. And then that's what started the associate era, as I would say.
Yeah, it's the start of it. It was the start of it because after we got kicked off Octagon for our wild boy behaviors and with many other stuff, we were struggling. We had to find a new spot, and then we land on Taj. So which honestly made us the YPG that we are today, basically. So let's talk about Taj. Give us a memory about Taj.
Taj was a different situation because it was a different. The venue itself was a different type of tempo.
Yeah.
Basically, we were doing with Octagon and Rebel. We were doing a lot of like hip hop, reggae stuff, and the vibe of the venues were kind of like a young, a young wild out type of vibe. Hence us being wild dudes around that time. Taj was a little bit more refined and polished.
Yeah.
At least with the venue, and especially with like the weekly party that they were doing.
Yeah.
It was a lot more refined and polished, which was way different and outside of our wheelhouse of us being like wild dudes. Because mind you, we were still in the wild dude era. We were just wild dudes with no venue.
Basically.
And that was a really big thing. So when it came down to that, like we had to really change our game
completely.
Based off. Yeah, we had to do a whole 180 when it came down to, how we promote, how we represent ourselves as YPG, and then, pushing that message to our consumers.
Yeah, because honestly, after Octagon, we lost a lot of people. People didn't want to go to Taj at all. People didn't believe in us in Taj at all.
Let me tell you why. Because Taj, like I said before, Taj was a different environment because of the fact that you know, you had to be a bit more refined to even step foot in the motherfucker.
Yeah,
right?
yep.
This is where the image came in. And shout out to Compton, but he told us this.
Yeah, he did told us, yep.
You know, especially with, you know, like, all right, when I bring up plus size situations, right, it wasn't just at the Taj situation, it was also prior to that as well.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There was a stigma behind that, you know? It's always, probably always will be. People won't say that out loud. I'll say it out loud because I don't mind content. You know, you can't cancel me for saying the truth. Mm-hmm. It's stigma. We got pulled up and branded as that, you know.
Yeah, as those guys, the promoter that bring, you know, those type of women. Yeah.
Yeah. And my thing was, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just sitting there bringing women just for that in particular, but I'm bringing in women that want to come to the spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
I gotta sell the shit. You want me to sell the shit? I'm gonna sell the shit. Mm-hmm. So basically, with Taj, that was even more refined.
Yeah.
And more on that type of point. So in turn, that crowd that was wild with us stopped being wild with us and then went elsewhere.
Yeah, basically, yeah, pretty much.
You know? And that felt like that's what I was talking about earlier in this episode, where you have a lot of people that will be there for the success, but now when we're trying to build new things from scratch, then that's a whole thing. And on top of that, we wasn't under nobody.
Yeah, we wasn't, but we do have to shout out MTA Rocky for the opportunity to bring us in. Shout out to Troy Kristoff for believing in us, you know, and
still believing in us.
And still believing in us, and you know, Damon and everybody, all the cool at time. But we do there. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to more about that. But yeah.
Yeah, one big memory I have with Taj, right? And this kind of goes into like the personal memory situation. Yeah. And I'm gonna drop a fun fact after this.
All right.
One big memory was we were doing a birthday, and this kind of goes into the personal situation. So I'm doing a birthday, having mad people, we about to get bread, and then we found out one of our guests was banned from Taj. Didn't know.
Yeah.
Didn't even know. But they were banned, and one of somebody I was dating at the time wanted to like leave and go to another spot and wanted me to come.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, because I still got to do business here. I'm sorry that person was banned, but I can't do nothing about that. I still got to get this bread.
And remind you, the person that banned is somebody close to me, so it's hurting for me more than anything.
Exactly. So, but you're still in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're still making those moves. And I'm like, bro, if the person that's banned is really close to Ken, and Ken is still in there doing what he has to do, bro, I'm going to do what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go get this money. And that really was like the straw that broke the camel's back in that particular relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, like relationships died because of my work ethic. You know what I'm saying?
Same here. Honestly, not to cut you off real quick, but majority of my run for being promoted at Taj, I was single majority of that run because I know a lot of women could not handle me as a promoter. I always think about business first.
That was a big thing, and to me personally, like, even though business was first, I was still like out here like fucking around. You know what I'm saying? I was still out here fucking around on, you know, in these spots.
Yeah.
You know, and that hurt a lot of my relationships as well. So it's hard to really like be on some promoter shit and actually, you know, be in a stable situation unless you have a plan on how to conduct yourself.
Yeah.
In those spaces. And back then I did not have no plans.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah. And we got one.
Other than that, like the whole what's that? That whole night, even though that all of that went down, the whole night was still a success, and I still got money from that night.
We did. We really did, though.
Yeah. So even though the personal was fucked up, we still had, you know, the goal was still met. You know what I'm saying? Booking the parties, getting people to pull up, and getting paid. That was our goal. You know. A fun fact about Taj before we go into the next spot.
Yeah.
Of all the spots that we promoted at, I've never hosted a birthday party of my own at Taj.
That's crazy. That's fact. You really didn't. I did two. but it wasn't even big birthdays though. Well, clearly one was, we ain't over that one birthday time. But with another spot, another time, but it wasn't a big birthday. But yeah, me either. But the next spot you did have a birthday at, which is Catcher. We used to do on Fridays.
Now, Catra, there's many memories. Many memories in Catra. Better or for worse. So that's like one of my biggest spots there. I have stories that to this day I cannot speak on.
True, yeah.
Those are like persona non grata type stories. But I do have some stuff that I could share because Catra low key was my spot. I lived like about 10 minutes away driving from Catra. So it was nothing for me to be at a spot around like 11, be at Catra like at 11 and rock out there till like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then be home by 2:15.
Yeah.
So that was like a really big situation. I would say a good memory, which is kind of funny. I walk into Catra, right? There's these two girls there, right? And they on my body heavy. And I'm like, bruh, at this time I was dating still. But they were on my body like heavy. I was like, wait a minute, and apparently the person I was dealing with was on their way, like in the route to Catra. So full disclosure, I bagged both of them. They wanted me to sit there, and one of them wanted me to sit there and clap them up in that little the legendary bathroom that's in there. And if you if you've ever been to Catra and you know the legendary bathroom, the legendary bathroom.
Oh, yeah, no comment about that. I got stories about that too.
You know what I'm saying? So, I wasn't going to do it because you wasn't going to catch me slipping on that type of level. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like as things was going on, she pulls up. I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then I had to dish them off for to our other associates because, they had a little bit of hard time at Catra, but I didn't really have that much of a hard time. So it was good for me.
Yeah, Catra was crazy, man, and I ain't gonna hold you. Catra was crazy, man, and Catra, yeah, that was your spot, son.
Yeah, I always did. Like, I probably didn't do Taj birthdays because I always did birthdays at Catra.
Yeah, that's a fact, son. But but I got a question that goes on all of our minds right now, everybody's mind right now. When are we returning?
Honestly, this is a question that I should have asked you at King Talk because I'll keep it. I'll be frank here. I was always up for a return. I was always up for a return back to Taj or Catra, if you will. Especially going in this route where I know now how to like maneuver in these spaces without putting everything at risk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's more of a mental, mindset about that.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know what? Let me answer this question. I know during the pandemic, I went through a lifestyle change and everything. A lot of stuff was going on in my life that kind of stopped that return. But now on 2022. Do I see myself returning? At this point, I'm not gonna front. I think I do. I think I do want to return now. When is I returning? Well, when are we returning? I should say. Y'all just gotta find out. We're gonna be like bringing value with the right rabbit out here. You ain't gonna know.
I mean, like, I have an idea of when I would like to return.
It's funny thing, son. I have an idea too, son. I have an idea too, and if you think of the same thing, it's one of our biggest nights.
Oh yeah, but I don't think we're thinking the same thing though. I think it'll be more of a historical fact of a night rather than a big night type film. But I do like the idea, even though especially because it's coming close. Yeah, and there's a lot of stories for that too.
Exactly, yeah.
I can get into one of those stories right now. So basically, and it's not even about me, it's about somebody else, one of our associates. So I'm free to talk about this shit. Halloween night, right? We always have Taj parties. Taj parties are like for Halloween. Halloween night Taj parties are always like the biggest. You know, basically, if you ain't got a ticket, there's nothing we can do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a fact, because Halloween is usually crazy.
Everybody pulls up. If we can't do lists. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's pulling up, and the lines are still long, going into like the late 2:00 hour.
Yeah.
So like it's tough to really get in there if you don't have tickets. But me and my team, of course, we have tickets, and we usually kill Halloween nights 9 out of 10 times, right?
Yeah. Majority of the time we undefeated, except for last year, because we didn't do no event last year.
So you can't really count that. We didn't really host something.
Yeah, but other than that, Halloween nights is usually successful for YPG, son.
And I never understood why Halloween nights of all nights were, but I could understand why. Yeah. So one of my bros, like, he was on some thought shit, basically. Brought his shorty to the spot. Next thing you know, dancing up on this other shorty he brings with him, and I see his girl staring. I'm like, bro, you know she can see you.
That's a fact, son. Because I remember he was dancing with a girl, and he sees his girl. He put the other girl he was dancing with, on me. Yeah,
it's an illusion.
Yeah, and I ended up bagging the girl that he pushed on me at the time.
Which happens, because there was an Atlantic City trip that happened with me and Germ. So
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, bro, she can see you. Long story short, they end up breaking up because that's done.
Yeah.
And it was what it was. But moral of the story: just because it's Halloween, you wear a mask doesn't mean you can't get caught up.
That's a fact, son. That is a fact. That's a fact.
So that's a big thing. But Halloween night is definitely one of our biggest nights. And listen, if we're looking at a Halloween comeback, I don't mind it. If you're looking at an 11th year anniversary comeback, I don't mind that either. But depending on which one, people just have to wait and see.
I agree on both. All right, what other project that you got going on? And give us an update on Shop by Sands.
All right. Well, basically, right now, I'm working on. Besides, we were talking about King Talk. I've been working to do like affiliate marketing and everything. And one of the biggest things with affiliate marketing is the fact that, a lot of it you can do from home. And it's only a few hours a day, so you're not like wasting a lot of your day. I know a lot of people, when they try to make extra money from home and everything like that, that's a big thing. They feel like they want to spend. A lot of people want to spend more time with their families.
Yeah.
Right? And me myself, I travel for my actual job. So when it comes down to working and everything and getting more money, I'm always about getting to the bag, right?
You're not the only one, son. You're not the only one.
And one of my biggest things is working in affiliate marketing with different companies to try to push their products out. As we talked about with the nightlife stuff, one thing we learned, I was a pretty good promoter. What I'm saying? Yeah. So this would probably be no different. So it's one of the things that I'm working with a few other people on in different avenues to try to get that up off the ground. I'll have more coming for that, sometime soon. As far as Shop by Sands go, I know we talked a lot about in King Talk, about doing things or that we enjoy for fun and doing things that we do that can help bring us extra income.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they tend to, whenever they come up with like a skill, any skill, no matter what it is, everybody got to feel like, you can make a lot of money with this skill. You could, do a lot with, you can make a lot of money doing the skills that you just learned, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, people just want to do things that they like,
Yeah.
So me personally, Shop by Sands right now, especially with the uprising of King Talk and all other stuff I'm working on outside of that, I feel like with with Shop I Sands, I could do that, and I could do that for like fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I don't mind taking pictures. Like I feel like this thing with me, like one big thing about me with photography as a whole is the fact that I could still take pictures. I've never stopped taking pictures, but you know, I could pick up a camera, right? Know how to maneuver it based off where I'm at, and still take the best pictures possible because of what I can do. I'm still a dope ass editor, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also feel like with Shop I Said, I don't want this to be a situation where I'm now pushing to build that as like the number one photography spot in the whole New York City area, you know? It's just something that I enjoy, something that it feels therapeutic for me, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, if we all, right, as people, do things that make us feel good instead of doing things that we have to do, that or doing activities that we like to do, but now we feel like we have to do it because we have to get to some sort of bag that social media tells us to do or force down our throat. Like if we focus more on the therapeutic things that we enjoy, we'll be more better off as people.
That's a fact. And yeah, you're right. It is always good to do things just to have fun with. Because not everything don't need to be for the bag. You're right about that, son. You're right about that.
Yeah, and I granted, I could understand inflation being inflation, and you know, people needing a certain dollar amount to survive and everything like that. But at the same time, whatever happened to doing things that we enjoy doing for the sake of doing it?
Yeah. Agreed. That's how I feel about music now. So I definitely agree. I definitely know how that feels, yo.
And that's the same thing about music too. I feel that way about music as well. Like I still make beats, but I do it for fun. I don't be doing it because I'm trying to be the best super producer.
Exactly. I don't. We used to have that mindset, but now it's just for fun now. And us and the team want to make music again just for fun. I'm down for that.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing because for me, I'm like this, right? There's certain things now that I can make money with.
Yeah.
And then build on, you know.
Yeah.
There's certain things I can make money with and build on. And enjoy.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna hold you. Doing this podcast show, I enjoy doing this, you know, for the passion. I enjoy doing it for fun. I enjoy doing this for the money. And this is something I want to do too. Yeah. But I also do a few things that you just want to do for fun. Sometimes you just gotta separate the two.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I don't mind taking pictures for fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things that I feel like I'm good at.
Yeah.
That I don't have to sit there and like be like, oh, I'm gonna be the best. I'll make so much money for that. Come on.
Yeah. I get it, son. But you know, this year we did not have a SummerSlam episode this year.
Yeah.
And you know, we had a Money in the Bank instead, and that was a really successful episode. But since then, a lot had happened, son, with WWE and AEW. So let's talk about how you feel about the climate in WWE right now, and how you feel about the climate in the AEW, and also who you think had the biggest impact in both WWE, AEW, males and females.
All right, so I'll speak on WWE first. So basically, there's a lot of changes because of the whole Vince situation that went down with him paying these ladies to, you know, to fondle him and his bros. So it's like when you see that, it's like, all right, when you see his departure, a lot of things are going as well. A lot of things are leaving as well, along with his departure.
Yeah, a lot. Basically, everybody who officiated with Vince is pretty much going out too. Slowly going out.
And that's kind of the thing, because it's like, all right, bet, you know, people want to say, oh, he stepped down and left. Let's talk about it. He stepped down because he was fucking up the company's money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had to, in any company, you have to do what you have to do.
Exactly.
Having said that, that now opened the door for newer opportunities. Because let's be real, 2019, for instance, was like the worst period for like Raw.
Yeah.
Nobody was really checking for Raw like that. You know what I'm saying?
2019 and 2020.
Yeah, nobody was really checking for Raw like that. You know what I'm saying? And SmackDown was not that far off either, even with Roman Reigns kind of like doing his thing over there. So outside of that, like Roman Reigns and to a smaller extent, The Fiend was like real big pivotal parts of 2019.
That's true.
Everything else was garbage. Yeah. Everything else. So when it came down to that, around that same time, AEW came around and they started doing their thing, you know, and it was an alternative to what we were seeing over at WWE.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying whether it was better or not, but it definitely was an alternative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Along with other companies like with Impact, New Japan, those are also alternatives as well.
Yeah, yeah.
What we're seeing now, however, is a shift with Triple H running it and putting more emphasis on actual wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Because the team that you have there, like the viewers that you have there, they know what's up. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, you gotta wait till next week. You got dirt sheets dropping off a lot of stuff, whether it be true or not.
Yeah, exactly.
And that wrestling community, being that community, is eating up everything from that.
Pretty much.
You know? So that's kind of a thing. But I would say the climate now for WWE is way better now than it was 3 years.
Way better. Son, this is probably the happiest that we've been talking about wrestling. But since we've been doing MrGentleman like the podcast, this has been the happiest that I've been talking about wrestling. I told you, I'm gonna listen to the old prediction episode that we did, and yeah, the product was pretty bad.
Well, no, because the thing was, because we had to talk about other matches that wasn't as important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
So that was kind of a thing. So you're talking about that, but now you're getting into a better space where I was happier to talk about it. But for me, I've always been happy to talk about it, whether it was WWE, AEW, because now guess what? You got options.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Everybody swear they love wrestling, but then they want wrestling to go back to what it was in 2002 when WWE was the only major promotion.
That's not gonna happen no more. That
can never happen no more. It's not sustainable for the niche as a whole. Yeah. Wrestling is already a niche. Professional wrestling is already a niche business as is.
Yeah.
Right now, you're nowadays you have so many other companies that people could sit there and watch.
Yeah.
You know, so when I see in the internet wrestling community, when I see everybody beefing over which promotion is better, I'm like, listen, we got all these options. You watch them all, you watch them some, or you don't watch none.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really it. So I feel like WWE's in a really good space now to actually do new, fresh ideas. And I'm always up for new, fresh ideas, especially from the stuff that you used to see. Like I said before, Roman Reigns always is going to move the needle on that.
Yeah.
You know, Cody, when he came back to WWE, was definitely moving the needle on that. But I will say, if it wasn't for Cody leaving and creating AEW to do all of this, you wouldn't get the Cody that you see now. You'll probably
that's a fact. That's a fact.
You probably get Stardust back in the mid card, and then you'll be good. You know,
that's a fact. You're right
a
about
lot of people don't acknowledge that, but that's something that has to be said. As far as AEW goes, it's kind of the opposite at this point than it was at 2019, 2020.
Sure, yeah.
I said this in 2020. I'm like, listen, all they got to do is stay relevant. Stay relevant, and then you'll be fine. You know, you're not going to overtake the top wrestling promotion company in the world in a year. You know, that's not going to happen. But if you can stay relevant, you could definitely be in the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and they are in the conversation. Let's be real. We're not going to act like they're not. You know, they're not in the conversation and they think they're not being talked about.
No, they are. They're being talked about.
Yeah, they are. But it's the how. Nowadays, it's
the how.
And granted, there's some great things about AEW right now. You know what I'm saying? John Moxley got that shit on his back. You know what I'm saying?
5 year extension. 5 years extension. He stayed.
Yeah, he just signed a 5-year extension. So you can't talk about being unhappy when you got people saying they signing extensions. Two, you got people jumping on IGs. You got wrestlers jumping on IGs talking about I'm not leaving, even though Dirt Sheet said they're leaving. So now, like I said, the internet wrestling community, they eat all of that up, whether it's true or not.
True or not, yep, that's a fact.
They eat it up because that's what's out there, and then unless somebody's putting something out there, nobody's really saying nothing about it.
That's a fact, yeah. That's a fact.
So that's kind of a thing. Nowadays, like with AEW, and the problem is a good and bad. They're having like a lot of backstage drama, a lot of backstage bullshit.
Too much backstage drama. You got freaking Sammy Andrade, Sammy and Keithton, and then we got the Elite and the CM Punk.
Well, with the Elite and the CM Punk situation, everybody had to go.
Yeah,
everybody had to go.
And also a rumor about Thunder Rosa and them too, Thunder Rosa and stuff too. But yeah, there's a lot going on, son. A lot going
on. Let me ask you a question though. About Sammy, you brought up Sammy and Andrade. Do you feel Andrade made the best move in his career by hitting Sammy?
I don't think so. I mean, if you're not happy at AEW, I mean, I get it, but don't try to get yourself fired because of it. I feel like he should never he ended the wrong way. He should never did that.
Reason why I asked that because I do a lot of research on these topics before, especially when you talk about like wrestling topics, before I even get on the mic and speak about this. I see a lot of people talking about, oh, well, Sam was talking all that stuff on Twitter, and then Andrade had to pull up because he was saying all that stuff on Twitter, and I'm like, bruh, so you just hit people that has opinions that you don't like on the internet.
Exactly.
Like that situation told me a lot about a lot of the people that's in this community, because I'm like, bruh, you gotta understand, you hit this man, right?
Yeah.
Now, not only I'll put myself in these shoes. I'm saying some shit on social media. Yeah, I could be reckless on social media, but I'm saying stuff on social media.
Yeah.
You're grown enough to be able to keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't worth the fight over a social media post. I feel like that wasn't,
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It shouldn't be a whole knockdown drag out for the social media post. A conversation could have been had. You know what I'm saying?
Something like Sammy and Keithton.
Yeah, like they chopped it up and they might have disagreed. Shit, at least they talked about it.
Yeah.
They apparently in this situation there was really no talking. Andrade ran up,
Really? He waited for him. I heard he waited for him the whole way and hit him 2 times. I'm like,
yeah, and I'm like, bro, like as funny as that may be, at the same time, if I'm in those shoes and you hit me twice out of nowhere, you sucker punch me, guess what? I'm suing everybody.
Yeah, and the thing about it, Sammy didn't hit him back. Which was a smart move, It's basically like Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Chris Rock could easily pop this shit on camera.
Yeah,
because he knew where he was at. Sammy definitely could have probably, swung back.
Yeah,
he knew where he was at. He knew he was main event Dynamite for the anniversary.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you think he really gonna ruin his position by sitting there swinging back? Nah, I'm gonna let you hit me. And then when you get sent home and not get fired, then I'm still going to be on TV.
Exactly,
on my thing, being your heel, because people forget.
He's a heel, exactly.
And heels do heel shit. Exactly. That pisses people off. And if you get easily pissed off by that, guess what? He's doing his job. Pay him more money.
That's a fact, yo. That's a fact.
And so now you got Andrade sitting home. He's not fired, but he's not wrestling. So you're pretty much, dying off your contract. And then now you got Sammy there posing like how you pose.
Facts, yo.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a thing. Now, here it is. Oh, here's another thing. Andrade got like a couple more years on that contract too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what you going to do? You going to sit home for a couple of years and then go to WWE, and then you're now 2 years older in WWE when you're now dealing with a lot of the younger guys there, a lot more experienced guys. You couldn't get over there the first time.
Yeah.
Like you was like the hottest Andrade was in WWE
was in NXT. Yeah.
Got to the main roster, it wasn't hitting, so he left. He got fired. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He asked for it release and they gave it to him basically.
Yeah. So now he figured like, oh, I'm gonna go to AEW and do the same thing, and then you're not getting over there. Rush is more over.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Rush is way more over than you right now. Lee Morgan is more over than you.
That's a fact. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you're trying to be, now I'm trying to go back to WWE because your wife is there. Yeah. Bro, one of my next week's King Talk Journal, let me preview it here. Wherever you go, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah.
Means no matter, and this could be professionally or personally. If you still have the same baggage, the same, bad habits, if you have all of those bad attributes with you, you're still carrying that with you, no matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah.
You're still going to bring that same, you're more likely going to bring that same energy because you did nothing to change it prior.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, Andrade's probably going to sit out his contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably going to go to WWE.
Yeah.
Probably going to be mid. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're going back to WWE 2 years later.
Yeah.
Now you got all of these new guys that's coming in. You got all of the faves that's already there. Like I don't really see him fitting into that.
I mean, the only way I feel like he could fit, but then that'd be 2 years later, is he be down with Desmond Phantasma. Sitting out with Zelina's back too. So that's the only way I can see him fit. But other than that.
And even then, that's 2 years from now.
Late, yeah, exactly. 2 years from now, yeah. Exactly, that's a fact. So yeah,
it's not like they're gonna be the bloodline or anything, but like, come on,
you just never know. I don't think so, but you just never know, son. But
it's possible, but it's not probable.
Yeah, fact.
But so that's kind of the thing. Like,
yeah,
the AEW, like they got needle movers over there too. But Blackpool Fight Club is one of them. Jade's another. Jade's probably like the standout out of that whack ass women's division. I'll be honest with you.
I agree.
They got Paige now, but still.
Yeah. So those two who you feel is killing out AEW right now.
Blackpool Combat Club as a whole.
Yeah.
Jade is killing it. Wardlow's killing it, even though his title reign starting to become a little mid. Mm-hmm. Orange Cassidy is one of my faves, low key, while underrated. Mm-hmm. Who else? Yeah, like I still feel to this day, they got the best tag team division in all of wrestling.
Yeah.
Division in all of wrestling. They're about to drop ROH on TV, so we're trying to see what that look like.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time for AEW too. It's an interesting time for wrestling.
I agree. And who you feel killing it in WWE right now? I'm not sure you answered that question.
Who's killing it in WWE? I would say like Riddle.
Okay.
Riddle's fucking killing it in WWE. Riddle's killing it in WWE. I like Dominic trying to come into his own. It's funny as hell, but I like him coming into his own.
Yeah.
Liv is mid to me. Bianca's reign is starting to be mid to me.
Yeah.
I like what Bayley's doing right now. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Belair too, but her reign is kind of slow. Yeah, her reign's been kind of mid. I'm like, every time I turn on the TV, I see her. She always laid out.
That's a fact.
She's always on her back. I'm like, bro, come on. Get off the back. So, but other than that, Usos, man, that storyline is that shit got layers.
Gee Louise, son.
And yeah, even Sami Zayn's killing it.
Yeah, and I have to say, AEW, I gotta agree with you. John Moxley and crew is killing it. Shockingly enough, even though this person getting on my nerves, Jericho's killing it, son. Like,
listen,
I have to admit it. I gotta admit it. Jericho killing it.
At damn near 50 years old, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like he's still the fact that he's still able to reinvent himself.
Yeah.
He since he started AEW, he reinvented himself like at least every year. Every year.
He did.
I used to fucking Ocho because he had 8.
ROH title, yeah. He got the ROH title, yeah. Also for women, I gotta say Jay Cargo is definitely she killing it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so that's the only highlight in the women's division in the back section.
If I have to say WWE, I agree with you on Riddle. I would say KO. KO need to do a little bit more, but KO been so far. He been killing it this year as well. Sami Zayn. And nobody don't get it. I check to see the say this other person, so this can't be killing it all year too. Seth freaking Rollins, son.
Oh, also
that freaking Rollins, man.
That was a layup. I feel like I could have got more deeper, but yeah, Rollins been killing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's at his peak right now. He has his peak. I think this is his peak heel.
Yeah. I agree. This is his peak, and of course Roman too. Of course, Bloodline as a whole.
Roman's like the standard.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you see like it's like when and I can honestly say this. Back in the 90s, you see WWE, you see Bret Hart, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, right?
Facts.
2010s, you see Eddie, Brock, Cena, Batista.
Yep.
Honorable mention Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
2010, you got Cena, Miz, CM Punk, Edge before he retired.
Yep.
Those were the guys.
Yep.
2023, 2020s. You got Roman.
Yep.
Roman. And then everybody else.
And I ain't gonna hold you. Seth is low key trying to climb up, and so does, and also Drew as well. I feel like, and maybe also Bobby Lashley, also Bobby.
I feel like he cooled off after that whole England shit.
That's kind of true, yeah.
If he would have held the titles, then I would have added Drew.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely fact. But yeah, and but yeah, so that's the conversation. But before you go, son, I got 5 random topics I want to ask you.
Okay.
Type of game. I'm asking 5 random topics, and you need to answer it. You know.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, but short answers because we don't have time.
No, definitely, son.
Okay.
What verses do you want to see?
What verses I want to see?
Yeah, that we haven't seen yet.
Versus been kind of on some shit because Triller, Swiss and Tim is suing Triller.
Yeah.
Versus. I don't know if they patched it up, but
they did. Yeah, Triller paid them. They passed it up.
All right, that's good.
They paid them, so there's an update on that. Yeah.
Triller versus. They've been doing so many other things now. They've been having gaming versus.
Yeah.
Other type of verses, all types of shit. If you're getting into the music, I do want to see like a Diddy and like a Dre versus, like a real East Coast West Coast versus.
Alright. Next one. What food do you hate?
What food do I hate?
Yeah.
I don't like olives. I'm not a fan. Like I see people eat olives out of a jar. I'm like, how dare you?
Alright. What song are you listening to right now? It could be an old school song. It could be a new school song. What song are you playing right now?
You know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna go on my Spotify right now, and I'm gonna tell you the last song I played.
Give a top 5. The top 5 song you're playing right now.
No. I'm gonna give you the one song I got in my shit right.
One. Okay.
One song out of my shit right on my Spotify as we speak. Because people ask like, "Oh, what songs you listen to? What's your favorite songs?" I'm like, I don't really have a favorite song. I can just give you the song that I'm currently listening to at this particular moment.
Yeah, well, that could work too. That could work too.
And that song is "Party" Quavo Takeoff.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold it. That song
It's fire.
That's something dope. I ain't gonna hold you. Especially with that Eddie Murphy sample.
Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna do that. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. I heard they got a freaking Outkast sample on their new album, I heard. I heard a clip of it. I was like, oh wow.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's all fresh, so clean.
Oh, okay. I thought it was B.O.B.
Nah, I think it was fresh, so clean. I'm trying to remember. I think it was fresh, so clean.
I want to see somebody sample B.O.B. though.
Oh, facts, yo. Ooh, yeah, right? Shoot.
That's good. That's a challenge.
Dude, maybe you, Mally, and RJB could do a freestyle over it.
I don't know about freestyle. I could make a beat. I could probably sample it. It probably won't come out as good, but it'll be something.
We see what happens. All right, next one is, what new movie that coming out whether this year or later in the future that you're looking forward to see?
Immediate thought, I would say Wakanda Forever.
Me too, facts, son.
Like, that's gonna be a thing. I'm gonna have to see that.
Yeah, next month, son. Facts, yo. I agree with that. I agree with you on that too. All right, last one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
My house, new house actually, making podcasts, making money, eating turkey sandwiches, getting head. And that has been King Talk with Aaron Sands. Ken, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Wait.
It's been lit.
You mean it's the other way around? Other way around, son. This is my show right now, son. I thank you for coming on my show, son.
Oh.
Thank you for coming on my show, son. But no, for real, bro. I think you for coming on the show, and it was a fun conversation. It's fun, coming on your show this past Friday. Now you're on my show. Oh, you weren't gonna come. You ain't know. We gonna see you Survivor Series prediction. You ain't know, son. But much bro. You're killing it right now. You're killing it, bro. And thank you for coming to the show, bro. And
man,
you already know.
You already know what it is. I appreciate all you do. I hate to cut you off like this, but
yeah.
I appreciate all you doing and definitely helping out with this Brotherhood crossover. I'm glad to be on the show yet again as another guest, and I'm looking forward for a Survivor Series for that. And I hope you guys are looking for that too. In the meantime, we got a lot to go through, so let's go through it. If you're looking for me on IG, you can hit me up at Aaron Sands Premier. If you're looking for me on Twitter, you can look for me at King Talk Sands. If you're looking for me on Good Pods, to like the show, subscribe to the show, help us to get the show to number 1. You can find that on King Talk Sands. All of the links for those social medias are in the bio of this show. So please like, share, support. It goes a long way. Believe me, I'm a prime example of it. This Friday, King Talk. You already know. I already gave a hint to the King Talk Gym. Wherever you go, there you are. I'll tell you why in the King Talk news topics that I got laid out. But until then, that's Friday. I'll see y'all Friday. We'll talk about that then. Ken, thanks for having me. I definitely appreciate all that you do and all that you are.
Yeah, thank you, bro. And we'll be right back.
Cheers.
Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, like the podcast and the Premier Boy podcast. And this commercial is brought to you by the Premier Boy podcast, where we talk about anything about the culture. Hosted by myself, Ken, aka MrGentleman, Mr. Aaron Sands from King Talk with Aaron Sands, the Star Riding Ride, who is also my co-host of the Old School Show, and long live the Chief Mally Mal. And we talk many topics, from politics, music, sex, love, relationships, and many more. And also every topic that's going on in the news right now, many of our topics is very controversial. And the podcast show might not be for everybody because we talk about many explicit content. And yeah. So if y'all decided to check out the show, y'all be warned because y'all might need a drink or two. And yeah, because this podcast is so crazy. I'm shocked they had not got canceled yet. So if y'all looking forward to listen to the Premier Boy podcast, check it out on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Each and every Wednesday at 12 a.m. You can check out the Premier Boy podcast with myself, Mr. Aaron Sands, Star Riding Rod, and long live the Chief Mally Mal. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman. Have a good day and night wherever you're listening to this episode. Now back to the show. Yeah. I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning in to this latest episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank you to my special guest, my returning guest, my bro, Aaron, King Talk Sands, for coming on the show. Bro, you're about to hit that number one spot on entertainment news on Good Pod, and you know I'm here to support you 100%. And you got this, bro. And everybody check out his podcast show, King Talk with Aaron Sands, every Fridays at 12 a.m. Every Fridays at 12 a.m. you can check out King Talk with Aaron Sands. I am executive producer of that podcast show, so support him, y'all. Also, check him out also on the Premier Podcast with myself, Aaron King Talk Sands, the Star Riding Rod, and Long Little Chief Mighty Mal. Season 1 and Season 2 is available now. Season 3 is coming soon. And y'all can check me out each and every Sundays at 12 a.m. MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Every Sundays at 12 a.m. We on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and many more. Y'all can rate the show 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Podchasers. The more y'all rate the show, the more people know about MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And don't forget to check out the spin-off series from MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents the Old School Show every 4th or 5th Sundays at 12 a.m. Every 4th or 5th Sundays at 12 a.m. Second half of Season 2 coming soon. Second half of Season 2 coming soon. MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents a conversation about music podcast every first Sundays at 12 a.m. Every first Sundays at 12 a.m. Season 2 of a conversation about music podcast coming January 2023. I repeat, Season 2 is coming January 2023. And every first Sundays at 12 a.m. MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B. Every first and fourth Thursdays at 12 a.m. Every first and fourth Thursdays at 12 a.m. We are returning with a new episode later this month, so look out for MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B. If y'all want to be a guest on my show, because I am looking for guests for MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, y'all could email me a bio about yourself and everything that you do to my email, kenYPGENT@gmail.com. kenYPGENT@gmail.com. Hit me up on social media, Ken_MrGentleman. I repeat, Ken, KEN_Mr. MR, Gentleman, GENTLEMAN. Or y'all could register for a guest on my website, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. And y'all could register to be a guest just by looking for the section register as a guest on the website page. Y'all already know, add me on Good Pods, Ken MrGentleman. Good Pod catered to many independent podcasters. If we can see what everybody listen to, give each of the show. And we have the charts. So right now, I will be giving y'all the chart review for every podcast platform that we are a part of. And right now, I'll just give y'all the Good Pod charts. And right now, MrGentleman Like the Podcast is number 2 for top 100 shows. We are number 2 for top 100 shows. We are number 1 for society and culture. And we are number 1 for top 100 episodes for episode 102, which has been 3 days at number 1 for top 100 episodes. So, once again, thank y'all for continuing to listen to MrGentleman Like the Podcast. Continue to support the show, and it really means a lot. So, once again, I thank y'all. Check out the official MrGentleman Like the Podcast website, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. Y'all can listen to every episode. Y'all can watch every video. Y'all can check out every guest profile, everybody that been on my show. Y'all can check out every interview that I've been a part of and many more. So check out the official MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast website, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. Y'all can also buy merch from MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast from TeePublic, also on the website. Yeah. And once again, thank y'all for tuning into the latest episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Of course, each day Sunday, you have a new episode. Episode 5, season 6, episode 5 next Sunday. And yeah. And have a good day or night wherever you're listening to this episode.
My name is Samuel Austin, and you are listening to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast.